Ask somebody from Fresno where the bad part of town is, and they'll probably tell you the east side of town, or more likely the city's west side. West Fresno is far more rundown and dangerous than most other parts of town. And that's saying a lot, because Fresno is a very dangerous and drug-riddled city overall. My goal is to find the worst part of Fresno, a very complicated place in California's Central Valley. So I drove around on a day in late October of 2021, asking people where to go and seeing what parts of town looked the worst. A lot of people I talked to told me the worst part of Fresno is the city's southwest side, right off of MLK, so I went there. Here's what it looks like there. This part of town has a lot of gang activity and shootings every night. Honestly, it's bad, but not bad, at least visually. And I have a duty to my YouTube audience to show as honest a look at a city as I can. So I wasn't settling for just kinda bad. Plus, you guys see gang-infested ghettos all the time on this channel. Now, if you looked hard enough in the greater Fresno area, you'd find just about anything. There's a bunch of homeless people. There's nice, fancy neighborhoods. Downtown is run down, but there's some nice pockets around if you look hard enough. Fresno has some large areas with college kids and sort of a cultural diversity to it. Fresno has lots of ghettos and farms and ghetto farms. Aha! By the end of the day, I'd found what I was looking for. Off to the far west end of town, off of a road called Brawley Avenue, I discovered a community in disrepair. It's where the farms meet the drug abusers. This is where the hoodbillies live. So for the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to explore hoodbilly land in Fresno and lend some perspective on what this side of town's all about and what it's like living there. We're here because this is what a poor, neglected community looks like in California's Central Valley. And there are many, many more just like it. Blam, 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 make you feel my gat. And if you take my pills, you better watch your back. Cause they get Billy on it, they get Billy on it, and he'll Billy on it. They get Billy on it, they get Billy on it, they get Billy on it. So he'll Billy on it, go get Billy on it, they get Billy on it. Fresno is a very poor and dangerous place. If you look at the latest charts on cities with the highest poverty rates, you'll find cities you're familiar with, places like Detroit and Cleveland and Buffalo. But right there at number 8, even ahead of Memphis, is Fresno, population 550,000. It's California's 5th largest city and a place with a complicated past. On one hand, it's very poor and dangerous. Some have called Fresno one of the most dangerous cities in the country, a place where there's shootings and stabbings, car thefts, and meth abuse. But on the other hand, it's a very affordable place to live and one that's been ruled by conservative politics for a long time. In fact, in my opinion, Fresno is pretty much the last affordable, somewhat conservative place you can live in California anymore. Because of its relative affordability, Fresno's growing fast. You have all these people leaving the Bay Area in Southern California looking for homes they can actually buy. But it's not a very booming place by any stretch. There aren't a lot of good jobs here, and Fresno's downtown certainly needs a makeover and some attention, something I showed in another video I did. In addition to the high crime and the large homeless population, meth has really taken hold in Fresno. In areas like this, meth has become a tragic part of life, and it's not showing signs of letting up. CNN once called Fresno the meth capital of the nation once. In case you didn't know, the Central Valley of California is where meth labs first became a thing in the mid-80s. While Columbia became known as a hub for the cocaine industry, pockets in the Central Valley, like where we are right now, were our version of that, but for meth production and distribution. Clearly, this part of Fresno is very poor and somewhat isolated from the rest of the community. Visually, it's a very interesting place. It reminds me of parts of Mexico, and I'm not the only person to say that either. Okay, guys, so joining me right now on a call from Fresno is Belgica, who has a YouTube channel that you should check out called Oaxaqueña Vlogs Senora Walker. Hi, Belgica, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Yeah, I like your channel too.
Thank you.
So yeah, I went to Fresno and I spent a couple days there, and I saw, the downtown area, and I saw some areas that are like on the outskirts of Fresno. You sent me an email and you wanted to tell me that you necessarily don't really like Fresno, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, I don't really like it. It's just so many, I don't know, I just never felt like there's like enough opportunities here in Fresno to like where I would be like living a fulfilled life. And I just think it's expensive for the type of area it is. Hence, like there's really nothing out here. other than like fields. And if you don't work for like the like I don't know, I feel like the only way you can get a nice job is you go into like the healthcare industry, like nurse or something. So it's I don't know, just not a lot of like opportunities. It's just other than field work and just a lot of farms around, and it smells like cow dung every like on the outskirts all the time.
Do you ever go out to the like far west Fresno where like it's really rural and it's like I would describe it as like farmland meets meth heads, like on the edge of town out way out there. It's pretty run down and
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
it's pretty
sad
run
out there.
down. Yeah, I mean, if you go to the outskirts, you start seeing like old looking how it looks like you're living in another like country. It kind of looks like Mexico if you ask me. It's like, there's just houses, but they're not like upkept. It's I don't know. It's like I guess I don't know. It might be cheaper to live there, but yeah, I mean, I've been around all of Fresno, not just Fresno, but like because working in the fields, I worked kind of close to Bakersfield, Modesto, Mendota, so I'm pretty familiar. And yeah, like if you go to those areas too, it's like small rural towns, but they're very like run down as well. Yeah.
So give people an idea on what Fresno is like from your perspective. Like what is bad about Fresno
Um,
besides the cost of living? And it's actually not that expensive in
no,
Fresno
it's
as compared to
not.
the rest of California. I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty cheap. But like, what else is bad about Fresno?
Well, first of all, there's like a lot of homeless here, and like the downtown area. I've always, it's not, it's never like they try to revive it so much, but it's still pretty much dead. The Fulton Mall, and like just knowing there's like a whole bunch of homeless like next to the Chuck Chansey, and it's dirty basically, and I don't know. There's just like a lot of homeless, even like where I live, because I live like around the Fig Garden area. I live right here in the Fig Garden area. There is homeless. 2 months ago, my husband's truck got its window broken and his gym bag stolen. So I feel like there's always a lot of crime on the news, shootings. There's a lot of shootings, and I don't know. It's just it doesn't seem like a little small city anymore. That I don't know if it's always been like this or I'm just noticing it, but yeah, it's just not a lot of jobs that I can think of other than like fast food and just I don't know. There's not a lot of things out here.
Yeah, I know that Fresno is like one of the car capital or car theft capitals of the
Oh,
country.
really?
There's a lot of problems with like kidnappings and drugs are a huge problem in
Oh yeah, meth.
Fresno.
I think it's meth.
Yeah. Is it getting worse like in Fresno or is it like
I
are they
mean,
trying to fix it?
I don't think they are. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's getting any better. I mean, maybe when I was just younger, I didn't pay attention to these type of things, but it doesn't. I just don't want to raise my family here. You know, I guess good thing we have like a college, Fresno State, and City College, but like even around those areas is pretty run down, and the only entertainment for like young adults would be kind of like the what is that thing called? Tower District, but it's still kind of like it looks kind of crappy still. I wouldn't really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I drove around Fresno at night. I'm not intimidated very often by places.
Hmm.
I wasn't scared, but it's just sketch driving around
Yeah,
Fresno, like downtown at night. Like it's just there's a weird vibe around that. I was like, I just don't feel like should be driving around and pulling over random places. It's dark and there's
yeah.
shadows and just it's seedy.
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, my husband doesn't because he's not from here. He's from Stockton, which is also bad. So, but I feel like we're kind of used to our own bad because I've been, raised here since I'm 4, so I'm kind of used to it. But still, it is really sketchy. And if you go down like the Belmont area, it's so like bad. Like, and right here too on the 99 and all the hotels like by Olive, there's like a lot of you could tell it's like daylight prostitution. It's the hotels like right there. It's I don't know. It's pretty bad.
Hmm. Yeah, so like Fresno's one of the last like affordable places in California that's not like um completely dominated by like liberal politics,
Oh
meaning
yeah,
like,
because of the
you
farms, I
know,
think. Hmm.
yeah, and like, they're not as strict with like all the mandates with the vaccines and like
No, yeah.
they seem to have some sort of law enforcement that wants to try to punish people instead of letting them out, even though they still let them out, like the rest of California. Um, Is that something that people talk about? The politics in Fresno at all?
I don't know. I think it is becoming a lot more liberal. Just because like there's just younger and there's like a large Hispanic population. But from what I see, I mean, yeah, there's if even you go down to Larry, that's very like conservative. But I just think it's because the farm owners probably they hold a lot of the um, I don't know much about politics, but I mean it's nice that we don't have like strict mandates. I don't know if LA has them stricter than because I go out with
Yes.
a mask and stuff. So yeah, I mean at least that's a positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that more and more Hispanics are voting conservative as opposed to voting Democrat. And that showed up in the last presidential elections when
Mhm.
a lot of the Hispanic population started to vote more for Trump than Joe Biden. And people are like, is this the new thing with Hispanic population voting conservative? How do you feel about that?
I just feel like Hispanic people, the majority, were just more conservative in general, and I think they were maybe in the past voting for like differently, just because uh, they felt more helped, maybe like those people were for them. But I mean, if you look at like Hispanic values, Hispanics are generally more conservative. They value family, being together, and hard work and dedication. So, um, I think that's why. And, you know, I think we come to this country for freedom and, to have a better life and work. And, it just doesn't, you see the people that don't like to work and the type of lifestyle, and usually they're, broken families. And, I think Hispanics and Mexicans are all about unity, and maybe they're just starting to realize who, will benefit them in the long run and not just be swayed by the media, maybe. So that might be why.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, no, people are opening their eyes and realizing that,
Mhm.
voting Democrat doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a better life. It kind of
Yeah.
usually means dependency and control.
Yeah.
Um, and that those are not what the Hispanic lifestyle is all about, right? I mean, you guys are
No.
independent, hardworking. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. When you first came, did you feel like the Hispanic community around you was just blindly voting Democrat, like without really thinking about it?
Oh, well, I was 4 years old, so I don't remember. I'm 26. So it's like, I mean, I don't know, like, for example, like, my parents, I mean, they've been legal here. So, before they were very like, I know when like Obama came to office, a lot of people were like so excited and like bringing their kids over from Mexico because they were thinking that he was going to give an amnesty and stuff. And, he's like the president that deported like the most people. So I don't know. I just think, you know, it might have been because they were always promised like a reform and something. And I think that's what was driving people, and like their kids, people that were born here, sympathize for their fellow Mexicans. So they were like, you know what, let's let's vote Democrat because they are going to do this. But I mean, I think the values are more conservative though.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe Fresno won't turn blue and it'll remain kind of somewhat conservative because the Hispanic population's
Mhm.
clearly growing in that part of the state. So
Yeah.
I love Fresno. See.
well, I'm sure you do, Juan. Are you going to continue to vote conservative like everybody else is too?
Yes, I don't like liberals. They don't care about me.
No, they don't, Juan. No, they don't.
Yeah, the east side and the west side is where you don't want to be. That's like old Fresno, original Fresno, which is now your rundown ghettos and stuff.
So I took a drive probably 10 minutes. It's probably about 3 or 4 miles west of Fresno and got out to like where it's like really rural, where it's like really old and like it's pretty beat up and run down like out there. What's up with what far west Fresno way out there?
Yeah, bro. Like that's the hood, man. That's like crack world. Like, well, if you get too far out, like you said, you'll be out with the cows and the sheeps and the goats.
I was on the edge of cow sheeps and like meth. I was like right in that like sweet spot.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So yeah, it's serious. There's a lot of crime over there, man. Police canine units rolling around. I mean, just real crime driven, just horrible. Like gang activity, gang active. It's pretty. It's pretty. You know, it could get dangerous out there on the west side and the east side. It's ugly. It's not fun. Even if you're just crossing through, like if it's just for some weird reason you have to go through the side of town just to, I don't know, pick up a package or whatever the hell you're doing out there. You don't like it. It's not splendid. You don't like it. It's not pleasant. But I don't think no one's gonna like run up on a stop sign and, you know, tell you to get out of your car. Like it's not that bad yet, but although it could happen. But
was that just old? Like that part never got developed because it was always just kind of the rural side of town, and they focus on other parts of town. Is that what it's
exactly like as you keep expanding the and you neglect the older stuff, and that's exactly right. So now you keep building and building and building, and now where everything's fresh and new and pretty, that becomes the desirable. Where, you know, people, the working class, are all trying to get over there because they can't stand to be over here where it's all grimy. And so these places become the ghettos of your city. These were the first houses that were built most likely in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. And these are where, you know, these are the areas you don't want to be in. Meanwhile, you know, we just keep expanding and expanding. So everyone wants to go, what was built in 2014, what was built in 2017, you know, that's where everyone wants to live. 2020, we're still building like crazy out here. I know there's a housing shortage, the crisis right now, but I swear, I'm driving by construction every day, like it never stops. But you make your point. When it comes to California, the San Joaquin Valley would be the worst weather, the worst job opportunities because of the weather, probably too. Just the tech companies don't want to be here. The corporations don't want to be here because this is where the farms are. This is where the farmers are. And this is where the heat waves are, and the triple-digit summers and super freezing winters, versus them out in these coastal regions where they just got all that beautiful, it's going back to the hippies and stuff. I mean, they've always had it kind of made, green grass, green trees, lots of oxygen, lots of mountains, and we don't have that in the valley. It's flat. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't think a lot of the people I saw in West Fresno are ever going to get out of that situation. Sadly, they're just going to chill out there until they're forgotten about and just live their lives. Stay out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated by, so you came to the US and you worked in the fields in the Fresno area, and then you transitioned from that and you got a different job and started a family. Is that kind of like what you did?
Oh, well, what happened is I came here when I was 4 years old. My parents brought me, and they are still farm workers. They work off the fields, and I kind of, I ended up being a single mom, and I was going to college full time. And I had my daughter in a specific babysitter, and I wasn't trying to take her out and go to like a daycare. She was so used to it. So what I did is I just like went to work with my parents in the fields because it was just more flexible time wise, and I could just, go to school 4 days a week, and then the other 3 days I would go work, and they wouldn't tell me anything. So I started filming and stuff like that, and some of my videos got a lot of views, and I just thought it was a good thing to document, like working in the fields, like life in the United States, because I used to vlog in English, but my videos weren't getting views at all. So I switched to Spanish, and it was just something no one was doing. And a lot of people from Mexico were interested in like agriculture and stuff. So that's kind of what I did. Then I worked like for 3 or 4 years around there. And then I went back to college because I stopped going to college because I saw that YouTube was profitable and I was making decent money and working. So yeah, so I kind of worked enough and then went back to college. Then I started a family at the same time I went back to college, but yeah, I just quit working for YouTube and just did vlogs now.
Yeah. So you were working in the fields while you were putting yourself through college.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's inspiring because a lot of people don't make that transition, right? I wouldn't think.
I mean, it's really hard. Yeah. I mean, you do see a lot of like 18, 19-year-olds working in the fields because, when they're not sure if they want to go to college or not, and then just because, a lot of parents do that. So it's kind of easy since we're exposed to it from a young age. It's not a big deal.
Well, that was really insightful. I think that what you have done and accomplished is really great. And, a lot of people that come across and become, at such a young age and start working in the fields and work their way up. They usually don't get as far as you have, and you've done a great job with what you've been able to do. That's hard work and dedication. And I think you're kind of a role model maybe to some of the people that watch your channel.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get that a lot, but it's just kind of like me documenting my life and just, I don't know, I just wanted to share. I always loved making videos. And so I was like, well, that's good. Something good came out of it.
Yeah.
Hi, Ariel. I hope you're having a good day. Bye from Mappy.
Hey everyone. So it's pretty clear by now that elected leaders aren't going to help you. If you don't like what you saw in this video, demanding change won't work. You're going to have to do it on your own. If you want to be safe and want your community to be a place where people want to live, you're going to have to clean the place up yourselves. You're going to have to work with your friends and neighbors to lower crime. Politicians clearly don't care as much anymore. It's up to us.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.
And are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation.